Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on Supergirl Season 2. Now this is going to be my review for episode 16, otherwise entitled Star-Crossed, and of course before you go ahead there will be spoilers within this review, so if you have not watched the episode yet, you might want to go do that before watching the rest of the video. So obviously at the end of last episode we saw that ship come in with those two mysterious people and we were like, okay, what's going on here? And they said they'd finally found what they were looking for, and that's basically the setup for one story of this episode. Now, was I the only one that caught the little nod to musicals at the beginning of the episode? Because obviously this episode was sort of kicking off the musical crossover between The Flash and Supergirl. So I thought that was a little bit of a funny moment right at the beginning, just to a little nod to what's going on later on. There was also another little nod to Man of Steel when the demands for Mon-El came on the TV screens. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have caught that. Very similar to what Zod did in Man of Steel, so yeah. Now, one thing which sort of got ruined in the trailer for this episode, because it wasn't really confirmed in any other episode, but that was the eventual reveal of Mon-El being the Prince of Daxam. After being hinted at throughout the season, we'd seen little hints at it, like his story at the beginning of the season wasn't the most concrete. It sounded like it was filled with holes. And then when they were on Slaver's moon, like all the different aliens were bowing to him. So yeah, a lot of hints to him being the Prince of Daxam, and it finally gets confirmed in this episode, even though, as I said, it sort of did get spoiled in the trailer for this episode. Now we had Mon-El's parents, played by Kevin Sorbo, who played Hercules, if you remember that, and Terry Hatcher, who played Lois Lane in the New Adventures of Superman, Lois and Clark, I think that's what it was called, something along those lines. But I did like the little digs that Mon-El's parents, especially his mother, had at Kara and Kryptonians. Even though Kara was just there, she would just say it anyway. I know a couple of parents' mothers that are like that. They just don't care who's there, they'll say what they want, so I guess it was pretty realistic. Now, someone who I did not think was going to be such a big part of the episode, and I'll explain why he was such a big part of the episode and why his story was basically the main part of it, was Winn. He was in trouble this episode. So Lyra, his girlfriend, the alien girlfriend, was using him to steal artwork after we find out that she can't be seen in photos or videos. Like, it just looked like Winn was talking to himself. When that first happened, I thought Winn was being like hypnotized or something like that. But obviously, Valerians, I think, was her alien race. They can't be seen on photos or videos or like security footage. So I guess that's a good excuse. I found it a bit weird at first because I was like, okay, they've set this up for like multiple episodes now, and then they're just going to end it here with Lyra being, just using Winn to get all this stuff. But she's actually doing it for like somewhat of a good reason, to pay off her brother's debt. And you will notice, as I said, that this was basically the big story of the episode. This took up the majority of the episode, and I'll explain why in a second. But I thought it was pretty cool. We got more Guardian. Like, Guardian's hardly been in the past couple of episodes. Like, I think, was it last week or the week before? He was in the episode for like 5 seconds and then just left. So yeah, they've started to put him in to the episodes more, I guess. Now, the reason that Winn was such a big part of this episode, if you know, tomorrow is the Flash, and that's the Flash Supergirl musical crossover. So Melissa Benoist, who plays Kara, was very busy doing all that. So she didn't have a lot of time to film on Supergirl. So, and you'll notice if you go back to the quote-unquote four-night crossover, that episode, or is it the episode before? It's one of them. Kara's hardly in the episode because she was busy filming the crossover episodes, because she was the only person from Supergirl on those episodes. Obviously in this one, Hank Henshaw, Mon-El, even Winn is in the musical reality. They're all in the Flash episode, but Kara is the main character from Supergirl in that Flash episode tomorrow, obviously because she's in that musical reality with Barry. So that's why a lot of the scenes in this episode, they might have just been Kara and Mon-El, or Kara and Hank, or Kara, Mon-El and Hank, because they were, basically on the same schedule, if you know what I mean. Like, there wasn't a lot of other scenes with any other people because they were busy filming those crossovers, and they have to do it. The schedule can be a bit crazy, so that's just like the way episodes play out, and you don't really notice it unless you like start thinking about it. So I think they do a pretty good job with it. But I guess it was sort of funny finding out that apparently a cast member of Hamilton is an alien refugee. So I guess you learn something new every day, don't you? So obviously we had the Kara and Mon-El breakup, and it was obviously because of all those lies that Mon-El told, and they actually gave a reason to this. If you remember back to last week's Flash episode, Barry and Iris are on a break from their engagement or their relationship, and they've done that so in the musical crossover tomorrow on The Flash, they try to like add like a romantic element between Barry and Kara, just because, you know, that's usually what happens in a musical. Like the two main characters are romantically linked. So they want to play that with Barry and Kara, and then that episode is sort of like a spurring on moment for them throughout the rest of the seasons in regards to their relationships. I think that's what Andrew Kreisberg said. I might be paraphrasing it a bit, but it's something along those lines. So that's why both of those couples have broken up the episode or just before the musical crossover. So if you're wondering why both of them broke up, it's not a coincidence. They planned that. Now we saw Mon-El ordering his parents home. Now I guess the big question is, are they going home for good? I'm not too sure because Kevin Smith is directing an episode. I'm not sure if it's the next episode or the episode after, but Terry Hatcher is in his episode. So at least Mon-El's mother's coming back. I'm not too sure about the father. And as I said, I'm not sure if it's next episode or the episode after. So the mother's coming back. I just don't know in what episode. And as I said, I have no idea if the father is coming back at all. So in the last 2.5 minutes, we basically had all this set up for the musical crossover tomorrow on The Flash, similar to the Fortnite crossover, but I thought this one was better done. Much better done. So we see Music Meister pop in, and he wanted to be captured because he wanted to meet Supergirl, and he wanted to travel to Earth-1 because he wants to have a meeting with the fastest man alive, obviously that being the Flash. Now you can see like the cool effects on his eyes, so that's obviously how he basically hypnotizes his victims and puts them in this reality. So he hypnotizes Supergirl, and you have to think that's exactly what he does to Flash tomorrow because the same thing happens to Barry. I did like that Winn was working on the thing that Cisco had made, and I do like how Winn referenced Cisco. Hopefully they meet soon. I doubt it'll be this season unless it's like right at the end of the crossover. They'll probably interact in the musical reality though, because both of them are in that musical reality, but it's not the proper Winn and Cisco, so it might have to be next season's crossover that those two finally meet. But I wasn't actually expecting this, seeing Kara wake up in the musical reality. I thought the episode might have ended with Kara just, you know, falling down and being hypnotized, and it would say continued on The Flash tomorrow, but we actually see her in the musical reality, which I thought was pretty cool. And I think when Barry enters, like, Kara is most likely going to be performing that song that she was about to sing when she was on stage. So it's a good setup, much better setup than the Fortnite crossover. And I like, even though we only got a couple of seconds of Darren Criss as a Music Master, looks like he's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. So I'm so hyped for tomorrow's episode of The Flash. And I'm pretty sure if you are half looking forward to this episode, or the Flash musical might I say, then you're most likely looking forward to it a tiny bit more now because of the setup at the end of Supergirl. But overall, I thought this episode was okay. As I said, there was like scheduling issues because they were filming this crossover, so you did notice that there wasn't a lot of Kara in this episode in particular. A bit more Mon-El and Hank, just because they're not as vital to the crossover episode, but Kara is very vital, so she was sparingly used in this episode. But I didn't mind the Winn part of it. It was okay. It would have been weird if Lyra and Winn didn't stay together, like if they'd set this up through multiple episodes and then she just left, even though it wasn't like that big of a deal. Like it wasn't like, oh, she was threatening to kill the whole city or something. Oh, she wanted some paintings. Like it would have been a weird ending to that little storyline. So it's actually decent that they stayed together. I did like Mon-El's parents. I thought they played decent, like, sort of antagonists, even though you don't know if they're necessarily evil, because we don't actually know what their plan is. Like, they could be lying about Daxon being fine and they want to rebuild something. They might be wanting to take Mon-El and start their own little army or something and control another planet or possibly Earth. We don't know what they're up to. But hopefully that all gets at least laid out a bit in the next couple of episodes. But it was a decent episode. I really did like the setup for the musical crossover in particular. But thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it. Let me know in the comments section down below what was your favourite part of the episode. And are you looking forward to the Flash musical crossover episode tomorrow? Do you like Darren Criss as the Music Meister? Even though we only got a tiny bit of him, I think it was enough to give you a taste of what he's going to be like. So yeah, if you're not too sure, you might have to wait till tomorrow to make your final decision on that. But yeah, leave all of your opinions in the comments section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.